Well, good morning, everyone. It's Thomas Montgomery. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, November 16th, 2021, and excited to visit with you. We have a really important topic today, and it should be shared on the screen. Let's talk a little bit of the backdrop first of why this is relevant, and then we'll get into why this is available. So big picture, you and I are out helping small businesses access capital. We do that through the Access to Capital program, don't we? We help build financial literacy by going through those 4 award-winning modules. We also help build a loan package, and the end result of that is then we can help them access the capital that they want and need to start or grow a business. When you, as a white label partner, submit a client, there's only one place in the world to submit the client, and that's on the white label page of iimfl.org. There's called the white label client submission form. I think you all know that. You all are doing that. Once that client is submitted there, it's kind of like an order form. So we know we need to get to work. We load them in the system. We notify you via an email, and then we send them an Adobe for the funding proposal and copy you on it. They'll get daily reminders. The goal is to collect just enough data from them to find them their first tranche of financing, that first round. And we went through recently some examples of recent first tranche fundings, often around 20,000, can be less, can be more, rarely above 40,000 of that first tranche financing. Now, if that funding proposal comes back and the client does not qualify for any cash funding, again, that shouldn't be a negative representation of you or of us. It's just the reality, right? We don't shotgun it out, but what we do is we have a consortium of about 30 different lenders that take a look at each of our clients and make funding offers. There's no hard inquiries to get those funding offers. It is just based upon that initial data set. If in the unusual instance that a client does not qualify for any cash funding offers, then what we're talking about today is the topic. What is it that we do when the client doesn't qualify for any cash funding offers? What we had been primarily doing is using a financing group called Denefits. It sounds like the word benefits with a B, but Denefits has a D at the beginning, D like dog. Well, we've ran through Denefits, and we've ran hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars through it, and they're a good group, and I believe that they have good customer service. They are nice because it is a credit builder approach. So while they'll provide the financing with guaranteed approval for the $2,500 deposit, which you may or may not make refundable, it's up to you, it does report to the credit bureau, so it's a credit builder. But Denefits is a for-profit company, so guess what? They want to make money off these transactions, and they charge a 14%, I think it's around 14% interest rate for most of the clients. Well, some of the clients don't like that. And then the way that Denefits pays us, they don't pay us up front. It's not a cash distribution loan. It's essentially facilitating the financing. So they pay us a little bit each month, worse yet, they hold the first month in escrow. So that is not getting cash flow into your hands quickly enough. So as of today, and we sent this out a notification to everyone yesterday, all of our white label partners, we're going to change how we help clients get their first tranche of financing if they don't get the initial cash offer. If they get the cash offer, that's preferable, right? That's better for them, better for you. Take Larry on the phone here, or on the Zoom. Larry just had 2 of his clients get cash funding that he just got paid for, I believe, yesterday. So a lot of you are seeing clients get cash funding offers that puts working capital in the client's hands and puts cash flow in your hands. That's ideal. But for the clients that do not qualify for any cash funding offers, what we're going to do is run them through this as an alternative. And I'm going to describe what this is. We will send them an Adobe packet, and this is literally the Adobe packet where you're looking at it, and it's going to come to them from support@ambdc. The title is 0% interest first tranche financing packet. So this, once they open it, this is exactly what they're going to see, and we're going to go through it together and answer any questions or any concerns that you may have. Now, do clients have to accept first tranche financing? Absolutely not. I mean, they owe you a refundable deposit, but and you may not make it refundable, but they owe you the deposit so we can go build their loan package. But if they don't want to accept financing, they just want to pay it out of pocket or go secure their own financing, that's fine. And some of the clients do that. But we try to get them cash funding if at all possible. If there's something about how they've managed their finances, the circumstances that they've gone through in life doesn't allow them to get any cash funding offers, then this is now the backup. So the Adobe packet that they get, again, comes from support@ambdc.org. It's called 0% interest first tranche financing packet. You'll be copied on it. Let's go through the content. So first they get this page. Now there's a couple initial spots which you don't see here because we're not looking at it from a client's perspective. We're just looking at the raw PDF document. But it says, thank you for enrolling in the Access to Capital program. So again, this is sent to them after they've enrolled, after you submitted them in the white label client submission, after we've tried to get cash funding for them. If we were not successful in getting any cash funding offers, then this is the automatic next step. So it reiterates, thank you for enrolling in the Access to Capital program. And then we start. There's a $100,000 guarantee. I'm getting some heat from some of you, and some of you really feel that this number should be a lot higher. But keep in mind, not all these folks are going to qualify for $1 million, right? And so you don't want to be misleading and just start jacking up this number because it has more sizzle and us not be able to get them to that end result. So our standard model is 100,000 guarantee. If you are a white label partner and you promise them more in your agreements with them, that's between you and them. As outlined in the terms and conditions when you enrolled, we promise to work with you to raise a minimum of $100,000 to start or grow a small business with no upfront cost to enroll in Access to Capital. A2C stands for Access to Capital, as you see. Then we need to clarify, okay, we're going to be building a loan package. To accomplish this capital raise and identify the right source or sources of capital for you, we will build a loan package that includes a business plan, including financial projections and other documents typically needed by lenders. Also, we'll provide you a mentor who will assist you through this process. If you're a white label partner, you may be doing the mentoring. I know some of you are outsourcing that. But the clients deserve to have someone that is helping them navigate through this process. So if you want to do the mentoring, great. If you want to outsource it to someone else, fine. If you want to outsource it to our staff, we can do that for you. But we need to make sure that the clients are getting the support and the assistance they need. And we believe that's best accomplished by someone that works with them as their mentor. This building of your loan package happens after you submit your $2,500 refundable deposit, which can be financed at 0%. So you can see if you're structuring a different deal than our standard deal, then we won't be sending this out because there's going to be too many inconsistencies. If you're guaranteeing something other than 100,000, then this doesn't make sense. If you're not making the deposit refundable, then this doesn't make sense. And so that's okay. You just need to let us know that you're going to handle taking care of getting the deposit from them. Some of you have asked us to take care of it so it's not a burden to you. And this is what we're doing, which I'll continue to explain as we progress. All right, so on the $2,500 refundable deposit, we clarify that you, the client, made promises when you enrolled so we can fulfill our promise. What was our promise? Our promise was to help them raise at least $100,000. So what we offered to do is to defer the submission of the $2,500 refundable deposit until after the first capital raise is accomplished to fund the deposit. And if you should decline an offered source of funding to cover the deposit, they agree to pay for it themselves. So we tried to get them cash funding in this example. If they did get cash funding, they would never see this, right? This is only going to be sent to them under two circumstances. If they didn't get a cash funding offer, and if you're not wanting to take care of this, because you could do this yourself or you could outsource to us. We don't charge you anything to do this for you. It's to our mutual benefit. So then we clarify it's now time to secure your first tranche financing. What is first tranche financing? You are being offered 0% financing terms for this first round of funding capital raise and only need to complete the brief application packet, which is below, by the way. We'll get to that in a second. It does offer guaranteed approval, so there's no minimum credit scores. It's a $2,500 non-cash disbursement financing to cover your deferred refundable deposit. Sometimes with benefits, even though we attempted to describe the same thing, same scenario, some people thought they were going to get $2,500 cash through benefits. Well, of course, that's not what happened. They didn't qualify for any cash funding. And frankly, even if they did receive $2,500, they would have been turning around and giving that to you for the deposit. So they wouldn't have came out cash flow ahead. So I don't understand their infatuation with it. But here, we're just clarifying it very explicitly. There's no hard inquiry on the credit. It's 0% interest. Who can beat that, right? So when we offered the Denefits is a for-profit company. Can't blame them for that. They charge, again, I think it's around 14% interest. Here, we're going to be able to save the clients money because there is no interest and no early payment penalty. Once you complete the application packet, we'll proceed with building your loan package and assign a mentor. And the package we're talking about is here, the second page, which we'll get to in a second. We'll assign a mentor to you. Again, our white label partners are either doing it themselves or delegating, but regardless, with the completed loan package, we can identify the next round of funding based upon your mitigating circumstances. And this brings up an interesting aside. Several of you have come to us and said, hey, I really like that easy approval financing you guys talked about, where it goes down to 550 credit score from as low as $1,000 up to $20 million working capital. That's great. Send me the application. Well, we apply for business funding after the loan package is created, because the loan package is what's needed to get large amounts of business funding. Some of you, and I'm sure it's my fault, not yours, but some of you thought, oh, great, I'll just skip the loan package and just go apply for business funding. Well, if we did that, we would get declined because we don't have what the lender is expecting to see. That's why loan packages are relevant. Okay, back to the sheet here. Once you reach at least $100,000 capital raise, you receive your refundable deposit back. So again, that's how our standard agreement is written. I realize that you may be doing something different. So if you're doing something different, then we won't be offering this funding solution to your clients. Instead, you can take care of it because you're doing something non-standard. Again, if they're getting cash funding, it's standardized. If they don't get cash funding, we'll need to know, are we going to use this process that I'm describing or not? And if you don't want us to use it, it's okay. We'll just need to know and mark your file. All right, so there are, and we'll send an email out with the recording of this so you can clarify, use or don't use this, and then we'll mark your file so all of your clients will be handled appropriately. Okay, two options so we can proceed towards a $100,000 guaranteed capital raise. Again, please complete the 0% application today, which is below. We're going to get to in just a second. Unless you prefer to pay the $2,500, because again, they are not required to accept any of the cash funding offers that they might have received. Of course, they wouldn't see this if they'd received cash funding offers. But the point is, clients are not required to accept any of the funding offers that are made. If it's not in their best interest, if it's not to their liking, then they don't have to accept it. They're not required to. And the same here. If they didn't get any cash funding offers, so we send them this, and here it is. I mean, I don't know where you would find a fault with this proposition. especially with 0% interest. But the bottom line is, if they say, no, I can get a better deal elsewhere, I can get better than 0% interest, I can get something, I don't know what they're going to get that's better than this, but if they want to do something else or just pay you out of pocket, they certainly can. And we clarify, if you do neither, you will be breaching our agreement and failing to keep the promises that you made. So again, you're in control as a white label partner. If you don't want your clients to receive this, then we won't send it going forward. However, if you don't want this to go out, which is fine, and the client doesn't receive a cash funding offer, then it's your responsibility to help them come up with that deposit, because this is our system. All right, and then some people they have a cash flow problem, and so they can always generate income by referring clients in. All right, so the application is pretty basic for this. That's the $2,500. So is it a cash loan? Obviously not. It's cash. It's financing for the $2,500 deposit. For us, it's a refundable deposit. Again, if you're not making it refundable, that's okay. Then you're not going to want to opt into the system. You're going to want to use your own system. And so what doesn't show here are the little fields for them to fill out. But when they get it through Adobe, it'll have a field to put their first name to the right, last name to the right, mobile phone number, email, annual household income, current address. If they've been there less than 2 years, and their prior address, need to confirm their identity, their current employment, and if they've been there less than 2 years. And then they'll e-sign it via Adobe here, printed name and date. All right, so then the third page is the payment authorization. And so there is a one-time $99 application fee, 0% interest, $2,500 loan. This will pre-populate with their name when they get it from Adobe. And they'll put in their banking information for the ACH, and then they'll sign it. So it's 3 pages. So let's summarize. So when would this apply? This would apply for our white label clients. If you submitted a client, they didn't get any cash funding offers, then if you're on the list, if you're in on this, then we'll send this. If you're not in on this, that's fine. Then you can facilitate it yourself with your client under different terms. No problems with that. We need to collect the deposit so we're able to build their loan package. And the loan package is what's needed to be able to go after the larger capital raise. As I mentioned, they'll get this via Adobe. You'll be copied on it. It'll give them daily reminders. So let's get into the questions that you've asked. Oh, and what's in it for you? So you'll make $200 a month. So you're still getting the same amount. We're still splitting the $2,500, right? The deal hasn't changed. So you're still getting $1,250, but they're not paying it all up front. They didn't get cash funding. So each month you get $200 a month. So it's going to take a couple months to pay out. I know that's not ideal, but frankly, they didn't qualify for cash funding. So if they qualified for cash funding, you would have invoiced them up front and got all of it up front. But paying out $200 a month takes a few months to pay out. Not great. But once you think about it, if each month you're adding more and more clients, that builds and that builds, and it ends up being kind of like an annuity that's paying out every month. So let's get into your questions. So Pete asks, is this option available to clients that elect not to accept cash offers? So no. If we offer, and it's a great question, Pete. So if they qualify for cash offers and they don't accept any, then that's their right. Then what they would need to do is just pay you directly, or get their own financing if they feel they can get better terms than $2,500. This is only going to go to them if they were declined for cash funding offers, because cash funding is so much better for you. You get $1,250 up front versus $200 a month spread out over 6-7 months. And then also it is less labor for all of us. So that is preferable. So if they qualify for cash funding, then this wouldn't be made available. If they don't qualify for cash funding and you opt into this, then they'll receive this. Great question. Oh, and Latasha asked almost exactly the same question, which is fine. So she asks, if someone qualifies for a cash offer, but they don't like the terms, are they offered this? No, because the cash offers are coming from a consortium of 30 different lenders. And we don't have the ability to make it better or worse. These are the deals they're being offered based upon the individual's mitigating circumstances, based upon their income, their credit, their starting point when they first come into us. If they don't like any of those offers, that's fine. Then they can get their own financing. This is reserved for those that do not get a cash funding offer, because we want to be able to say that we can help anyone. And even if they don't get a cash funding offer, we still want to help them build a loan package and still fulfill the promises made. And Tawana asked the same question, so I think I've answered that now twice. All right, so Michael asked, what's the difference between this and the primary trade line? Well, so, and that's an astute question. So this serves to provide financing, as we said, for their $2,500 deposit to build their loan package. And the $2,500, depending upon how you have it written up as a white label partner, normally goes back to them after the $100,000 capital raise, which is listed. So again, if you're not following the standard model, then you'll want to opt out of using this. But if you're using the standard model, you'll probably want to opt in. So it does not report. So notice it doesn't say, oh, this is going to report to one bureau or two bureaus or three bureaus. It doesn't report. We're providing financing for them for the $2,500. It does not report to the bureaus unless they don't pay it. If they renege on it, then it would report negatively, of course. All right, so hopefully that answered your question, Michael. If not, follow back up with me. And so, yeah, so Jeremy's asking, so it's not a down payment, it's an application fee, because there's a time and effort commitment for us to be able to set this up. And then they're going to make payments of $100. So the $100 is the amount of their payments. So their first payment and the application fee would come out immediately. So you can see in bold italics, you authorize a charge of a non-refundable $99 application fee covering the access to capital refundable deposit and payments of 1/25 of the loan amount. All very clear. And so each month we'll reconcile with you for the $200 a month. So that'll start in December for November's activity is on. Winston's asking who pays, and so business paralegal is the party to these financing terms, and so the client is paying business paralegal corp, and business paralegal corp will be paying you. Pierre asks, yeah, so you're paid out of the client's payments because there is no cash advance funding available to these individuals. That's the problem, right? If they did, then they would have gotten the $5,000, the $10,000, the $25,000, the $40,000 wired into their account. You would have invoiced them, Pierre, and you'd be set. This is for the folks that did not qualify for cash funding. Marcelo's asking for Scott. Yeah, so it's Scott at smartmoneyalliance.org. I don't have his calendar link memorized. I apologize, but you can email him and you can even copy me if you'd like, but Scott at smartmoneyalliance.org, and he can help set up landing pages and drip sequences and all that. Pete's asking about different versions of this. So let's go back up. So no, this is the standardized version because we have to implement this, right? We have to hire the staff and supervise the staff to implement this model. So this is the model that we're implementing. If you don't like it, in part or whole, that's fine. You're not going to hurt our feelings. Again, after this, I'll get the recording out, ask if each of you to respond back. And essentially, we need to know if you're in or out. If you're in, we'll note a note in the system that your clients will receive this if they don't receive cash offers. If you choose out, then that's fine. You can do it your way. And frankly, you could set up the same type of system if you wanted to. I mean, it's not money producing, right? Because there's no interest. All that's being collected is the normal 2,500. But if you would rather do it differently, that is perfectly fine. And you're encouraged to do so. All right, so Doug has a good question. So the clients that are already contracted with benefits, they're under contract. And so, no, we're not going to go back and breach that contract. Benefits would probably sue us if we tried to intervene in those executed agreements. So if they're already signed with benefits, they need to continue with that. And they get the perks, such as it reports on their credit, the positive payment history. That's valuable. But anyone that is not signed with benefits, well, going forward, this will be what will be offered if you opt in. If you opt out, then you can handle it if they don't get cash funding. And for those that have been sent the benefits information but haven't executed it, they have the option. It's up to them to choose. Renee asked about the financial benefits for affiliates, and that's a good point. So affiliates get paid $1,000, not $1,250. So affiliates will still be paid, out over time, because again, the funding's not coming in. They didn't qualify for cash funding. So essentially, we're putting them on a payment plan, right? And so the benefit to you, Renee, and the other affiliates is you get paid for people that could not have been approved for cash funding. But you still get your full amount, just pay it out over time, because that's the circumstances we're under with these clients. All right, so Spencer says, his new submission, he received several cash offers, received this. I apologize, shouldn't have received this. If they receive cash offers, they need to accept one of the cash offers. I'm sorry if somehow the system was askew. We're still working out a few of the kinks. Jeremy says, thank you. You are welcome. Winston says, thanks. You're welcome. Marcella says she hadn't heard back from Scott. Okay. Jeremy, yes, absolutely. So again, for our white label partners, we're going to send out today's recording and ask you to respond back. We need to know if you're in or out on this. If you're in, it means, are you in on this exactly as stated? And if you are in, then we'll use this for your clients that don't get cash funding. If you're out, we won't send this, and then you can run with it. And so then if you opt in, Jeremy, obviously you can let us know if there's any of your current clients that didn't get cash funding that we need to get this to. We would need to get your acknowledgement that you're in before we start collecting those names from you. Renee says it's a brilliant strategy. Well, thanks. It's not perfect because it doesn't get you all of your money up front, but it does get you a steady stream of income. It allows us to move forward with a client, and it allows us to continue to say what we say is that we'll work with all clients. There's not a minimum credit score for them to enroll in the access to capital. That if they qualify for cash funding, outstanding, we go down that track or that path. And if they don't, we have another alternative for them to still deliver what we said we would deliver. Zahn asked a really good question. If the client gets their additional funding, so their next round, so that's a good point. So we're not waiting for them to pay this off. If they enter into this, they fill this out, then we start going. And with that, then normally it's a 4-week process to build out the loan package. We're not waiting. They're treated just the same as if they paid $2,500 up front. And so Zahn's point is that they may very well get their next tranche of funding even before this is paid off. They still be making payments. And so what we've said to keep it simple is if they want to pay it off early, which is stated here, they can, but they're not required to. So there is no acceleration provision that, oh, if you get the next round of funding, you got to go back and pay this off. Of course, you'd probably prefer it. We'd probably prefer it, but it's not a requirement to the client. We have a deal for a payment plan at 0% for the 2,500. Now, granted, if they cross over the 100,000, then they qualify for the refundable deposit back. So then the billing would stop, and then they would be credited with what they have paid in. And that might have been the core of your questions on. All right, let's see. Pauline says she likes this concept. Hopefully her clients will too. Well, it's an option. And again, as a white label partner, you are not required to opt into this. I think it's well thought out. I think it'll meet a lot of the client's needs. It's not getting cash funding. The terms, $100 payment, 0% interest, it's really hard to find a fault with it. But if you can facilitate a better way to collect their deposit from them, then do it your way. Herman's asking about negotiating with Benefits. No, and we're in good standing with Benefits. We have a lot of deals financed, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars financed with Benefits. So we're going to continue to work with them, and any of the clients that want non-cash financing that will report as a trade line, that will report as a credit builder, then Benefits is the way to go, because we are not set up to report to the bureaus. We can pull credit, but we can't report. And I don't know that we're going to prioritize doing that. That would take some time and energy that I don't know that we want to work on. All right, so let's see. Oh, and Pete was asking that, is Benefits still available? Absolutely. Jeremy says, yes, sir. Marcelo says he's in. And again, we'll send this out via email so we can track it, and so to know who's in and who's out. Zahn says it's better than Benefits. Peggy says it's a plan she needs to offer. And again, we'll offer it automatically. If, send out the recording, ask you to respond back. And if you say that you're in, then this will happen automatically. It really won't require any effort on your part other than just prompt them to complete it. If you opt out, which again is fine because you want to do something different, then you can create your own system of collecting from the client. Not going to hurt our feelings. Let's see here. Warren says, so while the access to capital does not require the $2,500 deposit, I don't think that's correct, right, Warren? There is, and it states in the agreement, there is a $2,500 deposit. Now, you as a white label partner can make that more or less. You can make it refundable or non-refundable, but the standard deal is a $2,500 refundable deposit. So when you say, Warren, that that's not required, to me, that's inaccurate, but maybe I misunderstand the context of your point. Then you went on to say, Warren, if a client is not initially offered any cash payment, then this option will guarantee their loan approval. Well, we got to be careful on terms. So what we're trying to do is get financing to cover at least enough for the loan package, which is normally $2,500. So assuming you've not changed that amount. So certainly getting them more money up front for first tranche would be great, but they've made all those decisions through their lives. And so they either qualify or they don't qualify for more. All we're doing here is if they didn't qualify for cash funding, getting them enough for building the loan package. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, let's see here. Spencer's asking, do we send a list of clients? Well, so again, we'll get this recording out. will include a copy of this as an attachment so you can go through it, make sure you understand it, you have it. If you're wanting to opt out of using this, then you could modify it and do something else on your own to help your clients. But we all want to be clear on what this is and how this works so we don't mislead any clients. Renee asked, what's the best way for re-engaging disengaged clients? Well, I think there's the carrot and the stick. If they've signed up, but they're not moving forward, I think communicating with them and encouraging them to take that next step, whatever that next step is. So we're moving towards getting them the minimum of $100,000 capital raise. That's the carrot. If they don't respond to that, then you may want to remind them, Renee, hey, you enrolled, you promised to do this. We made promises to you. And if you don't participate, then you're in breach. And then what would happen if you're a white label partner, then you would probably invoice them to alert them of that breach and give them an opportunity to get current and in good standing. All right. And so, yeah, so let's go through the payments here again. So we're financing the $2,500 for the deposit. It's normally a refundable deposit. That's the language that's here. They have a $99 application fee. So there's 0% interest. They're making payments of 1/25 of the loan amount, and the payments are going to come out of the account that they authorize for. And so over a 25-week process, that full payment will be made, and that'll be satisfied. But our goal would be, of course, to be working with them immediately from the time that they execute this, or near immediate, within days of building their loan package, so we're able to get that next tranche as quickly as possible. All right, let me review these questions and see if we've covered. All right, I think we covered most of it. So here's what's going to happen now. We will get the recording of today's training in everyone's hands. We'll include a copy of this so you have it. Then you're going to respond back, yay or nay. Yes, you want us to use this for your clients that don't receive cash funding, or nay, you don't. And if you say nay, that's fine, then you're going to work out some sort of payment arrangement and manage that and facilitate that. Or if you want us to do it, we can do it. But we're going to do it under the standard structure. So if you're wanting to do something different than this, you wouldn't want to opt in. You'd want to do it your own way, which is perfectly fine. All right, so I think we've covered everything. I think I've answered all of the questions directly or indirectly. So thank you for your time. We'll see you back tomorrow morning and we'll get this out. Please promptly respond back to that specific email, yay or nay, in or out, so we know how to handle your clients that do not receive cash funding offers. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.